Hi everyone, this is Sunny from Database Tech. So today I had come up with one more new session on SQL Server Database. In our previous sessions of SQL Commands Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3, we had covered what is DDL, DQL, DML and DCL. In case you are not aware of these categories, you can go through my previous sessions on same. In today's session, I will explain what is TCL. So TCL is one more category of SQL commands that stands for Transactional Control Language, which is used to manage transactions in the database. It groups a set of tasks into a single execution unit, and if any of the tasks fails, transaction fails. Now, what does that mean? Let us understand this with an ATM example. You may have done amount withdrawal from ATM machine in your past. So what is the process? What steps do we follow to withdraw the amount from ATM machine? We insert card, we enter ATM pin, we enter amount, we confirm details and then there is withdrawal of amount from ATM machine. Now suppose we had done anything wrong in the middle of transaction, like we have entered a wrong ATM pin or we had not confirmed the amount to be withdrawn. Then what will happen in the end? Do our money get deducted from the account? No, it will not, because the system is made in such a way, or you can say it is programmed in such a way that if there is any issue in the middle of transaction, whole transaction will get a rollback. So, unless and until you will not follow all the 5 steps that are given here in the right way, your money is safe, it is secure, and your money will not get deducted from the account. You don't have to bear any loss. The same way, we secure our data in database using commands like begin, rollback, and commit. And these commands belongs to which category? It is TCL, and TCL stands for Transactional Control Language. So now let's understand this practically in SQL Server, how we can use these commands to manage transactions in the database. So let's open SQL Server first, and this is SQL Server. Now suppose we had the requirement where we have to delete some ID equal to 2. Okay, so what is the query for that? How we can delete the data using delete query? What is the syntax? Delete from employe where ID equal to 2. So employee is table name. So with this query we can delete the ID equal to 2. But let's say instead of deleting the ID equal to, what we did, we delete some other ID. We delete some wrong ID equal to 1, because it can happen sometimes while working in the database due to some copy paste issue, or you had considered a wrong requirement, or due to some other reason also. So let's delete this ID equal to 2, ID equal to 1 first. One row affected, and let's check the data now from the table. You can see ID equal to 1 has been deleted from the table, which was not our requirement. What we had to delete was ID equal to 2, but we deleted ID equal to 1. Now what? Is there any possibility, is there any chance to get this data back? Because it can impact the business, there's a data loss also. There is a possibility that this ID was having some dependency on some other tables also. So how we can get this data back now from the database? We cannot get the data back from the database after hitting the delete query in the data for that data which we have deleted. Yes, there are ways to get the data back if we had taken any backup, if we have any existing backup for that database, then we have to restore that, and it requires a lot of efforts, and there is also no chance, like no possibility to get everything back for that database. So it's always a better practice to use TCL commands, which are begin, rollback, and commit when you are executing delete queries, update queries, you are doing any change in the database. Because right now, this is just a single query which you are hitting for the data, where you are changing only a single record. But there can be the scenario where you have to execute, you have to change multiple IDs, you have to update multiple data. At that time, it's very difficult to get everything back to your database. So it is always better practice to use TCL commands like begin, rollback, and commit. So let's see how we can use these commands to manage transactions and get the data back in the database if we get any issue. So what are the TCL commands? It is begin transaction, then rollback, and in last it is commit. So when we have to execute any delete query, let's see what data we have now. From this table it is 2 and 3. So let's delete id equal to 2. So first we have to execute begin transaction. Command completed successfully and it has executed. Now in the next, what we have to do, if whatever queries you have, whatever update queries you have, whatever delete queries you have to execute them after executing begin transaction. So let's execute this query. It's not like you can only delete, you can only use a single query, you can use multiple delete queries. You can copy paste this. We had what IDs we have, 2 and 3. So now what we do, we will execute them together. Delete from employe where id equal to 2, delete from employe where id equal to 3. So what data we have now from this table? Nothing. So now at this stage we got to know that the data which we deleted was some old requirement. We don't have to delete this. Now then, at that case, what you can do, you can roll back. When you execute the rollback, you will get everything back to your original position. What I mean is, it will get a rollback. Whatever the queries you have executed after begin transaction, those queries will get a rollback. Let's see how. You have to simply execute a rollback. Command completed successfully. When you again execute the query, when you again execute this query to get the data from table, you will see both the queries has come back to that table which is employee. So it's working as expected. Same way, if you had any update query, you can write them after this begin transaction. And now you will be thinking like when to use this commit. So commit we use at that stage when you are sure whatever the queries you have executed is the actual, it's working fine, there are no issues, you didn't find any impact, and you are getting the result, you are getting the expected result. At that time when you are sure, you can then execute this commit. And once you commit this execute this commit, then there is no way to get the data rollback. You have to keep this thing in mind that once you are sure about that data, like it is working fine as expected, then you have to execute the commit command. Because once you execute this command, you will not be able to roll back that data. So commit transaction request has no corresponding begin transaction. Okay, why it's showing this error? Because we had done rollback. So what we will do, we will begin transaction again. We will delete this. At this stage, we can roll back them. But when you are sure, okay, this has to be deleted, then what you can do, commit. So either you can do commit or either you can do rollback. You cannot do them both together. Okay, and when you are sure, you can commit, and if you are not sure, you can roll back the data. So that were the TCL commands what we have learned. So that was it for today's session. We'll come up with the next session shortly. Till then, have a nice day. Bye bye. Take care. Be healthy, be safe, and love your family.